What's going on, gamers? It's me, Dooley Tonktics, and today we are back with some more Men of War Assault Squad 2, the Star Wars Galaxy at War mod, and this is something that people have been requesting quite a bit recently. People have been wanting some cross-era battles, so I thought we'd start with an age-old question. Well, age-old as in 5 years old, but the question is, what is better? The prequel era of Star Wars or the sequel era of Star Wars? I know my answer to this question, but I'd love to know yours in the comments section below. Which do you prefer, the sequels or the prequels? But regardless, today we have the Resistance teaming up with the First Order Army here. They have some tank destroyers as well as AT-ST tanks, and I believe there's a speeder around here. Oh, I forgot the speeder, but I will add one. And then they are going up against the clone troopers and the battle droids here, and they have TX-130Ts as well as AAT tanks, which is pretty poggers. I think maybe we'll do all 3 eras of Star Wars next in the next episode of this, or perhaps prequels versus original trilogy, or sequels versus original trilogy. We have a lot of options that we can play with, and I think we will visit all of them at some point, but for today we're doing prequels versus sequels. Should be really, really fun. Both sides have the exact same number of tanks as well as the exact same number of troopers, but of course their weapons and tanks vary, but they're basically the same power size, I would say. Either way, guys, let's get right on into this thing. Be sure to hit that like button if you enjoyed. Let's try and go for 1,000 likes in the first 24 hours. Subscribe if you haven't already. We're going to be doing a big giveaway at 200,000, and comment down below what you prefer, sequels or prequels. Let's get into it. Alright guys, let's get into it here. Pressing start right now. I remembered I didn't give them a speeder actually because the speeder was super OP. So both sides still have the same number of vehicles here at the same power level. So it all makes sense. Either way, the tanks will stay behind, but move forward after the battle starts as almost like sort of the cavalry coming in to save the day. We got the First Order and the Resistance armies moving out, and the Clone Trooper and Battle Droid armies are also moving out, and they will connect with each other in just a bit in an epic fiery confrontation. It will be beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I honestly think that probably the clones and the droids would work better together than the Resistance and the First Order. Now, I say that because I think the Resistance and the First Order have very different fighting styles, you know? The Resistance is all about sort of guerrilla warfare and hitting and running and things like that. Meanwhile, the First Order is very, you know, controlled and calculated, a heavy military based on sort of, you know, terror acts. You know, they thrive off of fear and intimidation, while the Resistance really doesn't do that. But with the clones and the droids and clones are both very calculated in what they do. They're both, you know, programmed. You know, the clones are programmed from birth with their brains, and the droids are literally programmed with you know, circuits and whatnot. But you know, they might work better in conjunction with each other. That's just what I'm saying. That's my sort of thought process on this thing. I could be wrong, and I could be proven wrong right here as we speak. Either way, both sides sort of fighting from the top of their respective hills over here. This First Order sniper is facing the wrong way. There you go, buddy. Turn around, turn it around. Scoot your booch around there, buddy bow. Let's see it. Let's see you fight. We need some power behind these armies. Some guns a-blazing. And that we have. Both sides taking some fairly immense losses here. I feel like the clones are a little bit higher up on their mountain than the First Order and Resistance over here. So maybe that's partially an advantage for the prequel era boys, but you know, that has still sort of yet to be seen. This entire side of the prequel era armies are getting slaughtered right now. They are getting butchered, and the sequel era also taking some extreme losses, but they seem to be further back and have more cover over here, and they're getting more fire out. So maybe on the right side, the prequels are losing and the sequels are winning, but then more towards the middle and the left side, the prequels are winning and the sequels are losing. But then again, it seems like the clones and droids are getting less and less fire out as the battle goes on. They do have a lot of units in the very, very rear back here who are sort of playing cover fire, but not super effectively. I mean, the farther back you go, the less accurate you get. Ooh, rockets hitting the walls here. It's a good thing it didn't land further up, or else all of these guys would have been downed for sure. That would have been real, real bad. Let's check in on the vehicles. What are the vehicles doing? All right, we got AT-ST moving through the woods, and the tank destroyers also moving out. As for the clones and droids, where are their stuff? Oh, here's the AAT. Here's the TX-130T. It actually seems to be getting hit by something. What shot there? Maybe a tank destroyer? And then the other AAT is right there. So the tanks are about to sort of enter into the battle, which could be the saving grace for really either side here. I think right now the infantry fight might be slightly in the advantage of the sequel era. I think the sequel era is definitely doing a really, really good job here with the infantry fighting, and is in fact winning just ever so slightly. But the introduction of tanks into this warfare could change just about everything here. Ooh, more rockets being fired. I have to say, I'm seeing a lot more rocket utilization from the sequel era troopers than I am from the prequel era troopers. I'm seeing a few rocket troopers, but I'm seeing less fire come out from these boys and more fire out from the sequel era troopers. I mean, look, another rocket coming in. It's not getting a terrible amount of kills, but it is doing some damage there. Meanwhile, these guys still haven't fired their shots, so you know, those rockets, man, they can be effective if you hit them in a big group. We have yet to sort of see a massive group hit by them, but, you know, it could be done. Another rocket going out that way. It doesn't look like he got a single kill right there. That's rough. Ooh, but we do have some AAT fire, I believe, over here. Is that from... That's definitely from that AAT hitting this hillside. Not sure if it managed to cop any kills. Maybe one or two, but... you know, it's intimidating for sure at the very least. We also have flamethrower troopers for the First Order. That is exclusive to the First Order Army, which makes it extremely specialized and kind of scary if they manage to utilize it. I mean, if any of those First Order troopers manage to make it to this hillside and fire a flamethrower up, they could wipe out like this entire squad in one burst of flames. Flamethrowers are extraordinarily powerful, but only at close range. That is definitely their drawback there. Okay, I think we should go into normal speed here. We were in slow-mo for the start there, mainly because it was a little bit laggy with so many troopers on the field, but now I think the computer should be able to handle normal speed, and that it is. It's getting about 25 FPS, which ain't too shabby, baby. That's actually pretty good. Well, the tanks for the prequel era are actually helping, and the sequel era tanks, it looks like this AT-ST actually got shot down way back here, and oh, well, here comes a tank destroyer rolling on through here, starting some stuff up. Wow, look at this. First Order trooper out the cockpit firing away. He actually ends up getting shot down there, and the rest of the tank is under some pretty intense fire. I don't see its main cannon really going off too much, but maybe it's reloading. I mean, tank destroyers definitely take more time to reload than standard tanks do, as we've seen from you know, standard Men of War. I assume that crosses over to modded Men of War. However, it really doesn't seem like it's firing all that much. The AAT, though, clapping it a little bit, grazing the bottom side of it. Oh, there we go. There's a shot going out there. I don't know where it hit, actually. I don't see an impact area at all, so that's a yikes. That's a yikes. Ooh. What was that? Was that from the tank destroyer or from the AAT? I'm not fully sure. Whoa, big things happening. Big things. We need to go in slow-mo for this little thing here. The sequel era troopers are coming out of the woodwork right now and entering onto this hillside. big time, going and taking the fight to the enemy, actually crossing over no man's land here. We'll just have to see if the prequel era troopers manage to defend. The prequel era troopers definitely do have a ton of troopers left alive, especially these tanks are very, very powerful. So, you know, these sequel era troopers need to be careful, but this sort of blitzkrieg lightning warfare tactic could be very, very profitable, because right now the prequel era troopers are all hiding behind cover, hiding behind rocks, trying to save their skin right now as the sequel era troopers really pile on at the moment. There is still sort of this standoff going on between the AAT and the tank destroyer. Ooh, shots being fired from the tank destroyer. Actually, I think it just barely missed the AAT or went through it. I'm not entirely sure. It didn't look like a very effective shot, at the very least. It looks like it just sort of went through with no repercussions. The AAT probably going to be the next to fire in this group. And we'll see if it manages to get the kill on this tank destroyer. I believe they have somewhat similar armor. Maybe the AAT has slightly better armor, but the tank destroyer does have slightly better power behind its weapon. So it's a bit of a trade-off there. The TX-130T... did it get tracked or something? What is wrong with you? Wait, hold up. Is it stuck or something? Like, what? Oh. It just fired. Is it stuck? Did it get tracked? What is happening with this thing? I think it might have gotten stuck on that little grape thing. Are you stuck? I think it's stuck. I think it got tracked, actually. Wait. Are you tracked? Sir! I think it might be tracked. Which is kind of rare for a Star Wars tank, considering they're hover tanks, you know? Oh, here's the other AAT right here. That's interesting. Wait, the other tank destroyer... this one is definitely stuck. Well, let's re-emerge you. There you go, buddy. Since we re-emerged the TX-130T, we might as well help this one out as well. And probably won't have too much of an effect on the battle, but you never know. We'll see, boyos. We'll see. All right, back to normal speed here. At any rate, the sequel trilogy infantry is killing the game right now and is just taking the fight to the enemy big time. Those few troopers who rounded up that hill did get taken out rather quickly, but we do have a flamethrower unit right here. Oh, he almost got some shots off, but does get taken down by some of the droids within the trees here. Oh, wait. Is that TX-130T I hear? Maybe it got itself unstuck and it is joining the battlefield. Ooh la la, oh oui oui. And the other tank destroyer might also be joining the battlefield here. It's firing out a little bit. The last remaining clones and droids are having a pretty bad time right now, but at the very least they are fending off some troopers and managing to get some kills from the sequel trilogy troopers. So, you know, not the worst situation ever, but it's not great. It is not ideal. I'm afraid that the prequel era soldiers here might be going down really, really soon and losing this battle overall. It would be rather tragic to see, but it's entirely possible. Tons of grenades coming out here. Somehow these droids have managed to live through them all, but now they're getting overtaken in their little hillside position here. It is chaos all around them as lasers and grenades all go off. These clones in the back here getting shot from the side as well as grenaded over. A flame trooper's getting his flames off. Oh, this is bad. This is where things go wrong. Yep. Yikes. Okay, the infantry for the prequel trilogy era are all dead, and their tanks are down for the count as well. Literally all that's left is this one TX-130T way back here, and it is still firing into the woods. Its only hope is to get at least a few more kills on these sequel trilogy troopers before the tank destroyers or rockets or light arms fire eventually take it out. I mean, this thing's lifespan is not going to be very long, but hey, at least it might still be able to rock a few sequel trilogy troopers and kill a few more before it goes down. That's all we ask. That's all we ask. Its sirens are starting to go off, which is never a good thing. That usually marks the depletion of the shields, and the moment of death is nigh. Oh yeah, it's getting hit real hard. We even have a flame trooper just sort of sneaking up on it. But it persists and continues to get shots off. It is on fire now as the rate of explosions continues. Ooh, that guy blew up along with it. Yikes, there goes the TX-130T there. And the sequel trilogy troopers manage to win. They have maybe like 50 or so soldiers left alive. That's actually fairly impressive right there. Let's check out the deaths here. So yellow are dead prequel era trilogy troopers, and yellow are prequel, red are sequel, and yeah, I mean the sequel obviously took less losses. They still took pretty extreme losses here, but definitely less. They even took some in the woods there from that TX-130T and from some guerrilla fighting from the infantry. But, oh, it's kind of tragic that we ended up having a fat L here for the prequel era. I was rooting for him, man. I was rooting for him. But, hey, maybe they will get a chance at a rematch in a future episode. But for now, the First Order and the Resistance manages to take the cake and cop a quick little victory here against the clone troopers and the battle droids. Are you guys disappointed in this outcome, or are you satisfied? I know there are a lot of sequel era trilogy lovers on this channel, but I'd be willing to guess more people love the Clone Wars than the sequel era trilogy, so I'm willing to guess more people are probably disappointed, and I'm right there with you. To be honest, I was rooting for the clones and the droids the whole time, because I am a huge prequels fanboy. I don't think that needs to be said because you guys probably already know that. Either way, guys, be sure to hit the like button if you did enjoy watching the video and were rooting for either team. I'd appreciate it. It helps out the channel a ton. Be sure to subscribe if you feel like I earned your subscription from this video. I'd love to have it. Comment down below what you thought of the outcome, and thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace! I hope you guys enjoyed that video. Be sure to click that subscribe button for more content, and hit the notification bell if you'd like to be alerted to whenever I live stream or upload. Thanks so much.